Deep within these subconscious minds of ours, we're always searching for that next hit of happiness, aren't we? Chasing an elusive feeling that never seems to come easily or stay around for long afterwards. Here's what I discovered though. The root of so much of our sorrow lies in attachment. Attachment to people, attachment to things, or attachment to hyper-specific outcomes. This video isn't going to be some hippy-dippy lecture about letting go of everything that you want. We're not about to romanticize giving up like some wandering monk off in the mountains. Nope. Today, we're going to talk about real, practical power. How to let go of attachment without letting go of what you actually want. As the beautiful human beings that we are, when we attach ourselves to something, we naturally expect that same level of attachment to be returned right back to us. But when those expectations aren't met, that is when the real pain begins. That's when the sad old story of disappointment, of rejection starts to unfold, right? That's why manifestation becomes 100 times harder than it was ever intended to be. But before I get a little bit too far ahead of myself, is that your story? If it is, aren't you tired of telling it by now? Let's get free together. Because there is nothing good about attachment. It changes your happiness to something outside of yourself, something external, something that you'll never have control over. But we've all spent countless hours scouring the internet trying to figure out how to do so, haven't we? An opportunity, a job, material possessions, and worst of all, another person. We have all taken that deep plunge down the rabbit hole trying to figure out how to brute force something to happen in our lives, only to crawl back up out of that rabbit hole with nothing to show for it. But allow me to pull back the curtain just a little bit more for you. You are in the right place at the right time with the right person. You found your way here, and I have great news. Today is the beginning of the end to your cycle of attachment. The root of suffering is attachment. This is the very first quote that I posted on my channel this time last year. Yeah, everyone read it, they liked it, and they moved on to the next piece of content, but I'm sure the majority of y'all didn't really stop to ponder what it truly means. Being attached to something means that you're gripping onto it so tightly that even your happiness, your peace, and your identity become reliant on it. If it's a person, a goal, or an outcome, attachment says that we are not complete without this, and we are not complete without that, and we are not complete without them. And that's when the real bullshit starts. When you're attached, you're operating from a place of lack, telling the universe that you don't have something and that you need it in order to feel whole. The energy of desperation and neediness is not the energy that you want to carry around all day, every day. That's not the vibration that you should ever walk around emitting. The universe works on congruence. That is a big SAT word, and it means that everything matches up internally and externally. Your inner world has to match your outer world. And when attachment comes up, that starts to create problems. It clogs up the pipeline, making it nearly impossible for what you desire to actually manifest. When you are attached to something, you go where it goes, no matter if it wanders off into the woods or dangerous territory or not. Most of us have had these experiences of our boundaries not quite being respected, and that's simply because we may not have had any boundaries to respect in the first place. We couldn't say no, we couldn't speak our minds, or we were simply afraid to. We couldn't let go, so we got dragged. Well, it hurt, didn't it? I know I definitely felt it. Attachment to outcomes or people is like tying yourself to a runaway horse. You are not in control. The horse is. If you don't set proper boundaries by building a strong self-concept, you're at the mercy of whatever or whoever you're attached to. You'll find yourself getting pulled in every single direction that they go, reacting to every little change, every little shift, overthinking the whole process and losing yourself during the entire thing. It's exhausting, ain't it? I've been through it, and if you're watching this video, you've been through it. Hell, maybe you're going through it right now. Because attachment changes you. It doesn't really allow you to be yourself. You become a fragile boat on a raging ocean, tossed around by every single wave of uncertainty. Instead of navigating through the storm, you're drifting, powerless against the waves crashing up against you. That is not the natural order of things, and you were never meant to be some rickety boat off in the ocean. You were meant to be the ocean itself, the one who creates the waves, not the one who gets dragged down by every single one of them. When you cling a little bit too tightly to something, it doesn't matter if it's a person, it doesn't matter if it's a goal, if it doesn't matter if it's an outcome that you want to experience. You give it power to dictate your emotional state. That's not love, that's not ambition, that's dependence. And dependence will always lead you down the road of getting dragged through the mud and forgetting who you are and forgetting your own power. So let's talk about it then. You got it. Dependency. Attachment in and of itself isn't really love or conviction. It's actually fear in disguise. And until we release it, we'll always find ourselves stuck in these painful cycles, unable to fully receive the blessings that are waiting for us. Let's start at the macro level before we go to the micro level. I rarely, practically never watch the news. We live in an amazing world where happiness and miracles happen every single day. But how much of that do you see on the nightly news, on the morning news even? A quick glance at the front page of almost every publication, every timeline is either drama, violence, hate, and if you're lucky, propaganda. Think about some of the happiest people in your life and ask yourself this, or better yet, just go ask them, how much of their outer worlds are they concerned with on a daily basis? People who stay out of chaos or worldly affairs and focus on their own little world inside their mind often live much happier lives because they're not attached to everything happening around them. They're not trying to control everybody, trying to control everybody's opinions and carry everyone else's burdens. And that is the sweet smell of detachment. That is the key to a fulfilling and peaceful life. On the flip side, when you attach to everything and everyone, you set yourself up for constant disappointment. You start expecting love, care, and attention from places that always won't give it to you. And when those expectations aren't met, you start to spiral. You start to complain. Anger starts to creep in. Frustration builds up. Stay in this vibration long enough, and over time, it doesn't just mess with your mind, it takes a toll on your body, and it might mess up your bank account too. That's because it's all connected. Love, money, health, the big three, it's all connected. Your energy is what dictates what you get to experience. And worst of all, if you don't keep this in check, it keeps you from enjoying all of this. If you can stay neutral about what's happening around you, you'll find yourself living a much more joyful and peaceful life. Now, this doesn't mean that as soon as this video ends, you go cut off your friends, you cut off your family, you cut off your loved ones and become a hermit. I'm not saying that. But always keep this mindset. Don't get too attached to anything or anyone where you lose your sense of self. Stay true to your boundaries and be authentic to yourself, and have a point where you'll walk away just to maintain your inner peace. And you'll quickly see that you'll rarely have to suffer the consequences of attachment ever again. We all have an aura, that energetic field extending about 88 inches beyond your physical body. It's like a spiritual shield, if you will. The only way that someone else's negative energy can seep into yours is if you allow it to. If you're dependent on their energy for your sense of love, or their energy for validation, their energy for security. This is where those trendy concepts come in. Codependency, anxious attachment, attachment style altogether, and neediness. Let me tell you something. These aren't just cute little buzzwords for social media captions. They are real issues that real people are identifying with. So don't identify with them. When you depend on someone else to fill up your cup, you're leaving yourself wide open to absorbing their negativity, their stress, their traumas, their chaos. Don't believe me? Let me paint a few examples. Let me ask you something. Do you need a text from someone just to get your day started? If you're not getting constant communication from this person, or better yet, you're not getting constant validation at work, are you spiraling that very same day, that very same evening to your friends and family members, anyone that will listen? That's a little sneaky example of how attachment takes over our lives. Because attachment isn't just to people, it's to lifestyles, or even your social media account. We all have people in our realities that are addicted to every single like, every single comment, every single share that they can get just by being seen online, as if their own sense of identity, their own sense of self-worth is tied to the algorithm. Nobody wants to live like this, but yet we do all the time. But not anymore. Today, we get free. Because if you don't, you hand these things your power. You attach your happiness to their mood, to their actions, to their approval. And that is the gateway for their energy, both good and bad, to pour all over you. Over time, it's going to drain you and compromise who you really are and leave you frustrated and unfulfilled, unsatisfied with the life that you already have. It's because things are out of order. They have become the cause of your fulfillment, and you have become the effect. But no longer. I have the solution. Let go. No, seriously. Let go. Not in a way that says you don't care though, but in a way that says that you trust yourself and you trust this whole mechanism of conscious creation. Let go of that rope and stop being dragged by that horse. You're stronger than you realize. Letting go is easier said than done. I know that firsthand, but here's a little bit of wisdom I've learned to help you along the way. I'm going to paint a picture. Think about a massive, towering tree, thick and strong, full of long, sprawling branches covered in lush, vibrant leaves. That is the tree of life. Now let's say that we climb up that tree of life, with a chainsaw in hand, and we pick a branch and we slice it clean off. The tree represents fulfillment. The chainsaw represents your desires. Here's what happens when we do this. Every time we fixate on one outcome, on one person, on one path, we're basically grabbing that chainsaw, hacking off a single branch, and saying, only this branch of life can fulfill me. Meanwhile, the entire tree, the infinite ways of fulfillment, the infinite ways it can reach us, stands right there, untouched, unbothered. Think about it. If we're longing for love, for instance, that's everybody's favorite topic. We climb that tree of life, but ignore every single branch on the way. Family, friends, colleagues, convinced that that is the only thing that can make us feel the way we want to feel. If we want success, for instance, we laser focus on one specific job, one specific opportunity, forgetting that there's an entire tree filled with different ways to get there. Same with money, same with wealth, same with health. All of it is the same thing. And there lies the trap though. The more that we fire up that chainsaw, the more we risk getting attached to that one branch, that one way that it has to happen. We place our entire sense of happiness on something that was never meant to carry that weight alone. So when we step back and start enjoying the whole tree, we realized that the whole tree was always ours. The solution is not to drop your desires. I'm not one of those people that's going to tell you that. Not one single desire. The way that you break free from all of this rigmarole is to nurture the actual tree itself. Explore all of those branches on the tree. The love for your family, the love for your friends, the love for yourself. All of those amazing experiences are out there for you to enjoy and waiting on you. All the people you can meet, the places you can go, laughing, bonding, all of these infinite branches of life that are there for you to experience. And you'll never become overly attached to just one ever again. You'll quickly realize that that person that you've been going after, that opportunity you've been seeking, that feeling you've been chasing, it's already crossed your path before. Back when you were just living your life and soaking in all of this sunshine that we have out here every day. When you're not fixated on one single branch is what I'm saying. When you're soaking in everything that life has to offer, how could you possibly stress over one or two branches that aren't looking the best right now? It doesn't mean that you reach some level of zen that nobody's ever reached before. No, you just detach from it all. And you detach by holding on to the things that you actually do have right now. When you lock into this mindset, you're going to realize something wild about this entire process. Those branches that you've been looking at, they aren't withering away because you stopped obsessing over them. In fact, they are doing the exact opposite. They're getting stronger, they're thriving, and eventually they're just going to be another option for you to explore whenever you damn well please. Manifestation starts with congruence, and that requires your actions to match your affirmations, your visualizations, your scripting, however you visualize yourself in the future. When you stop reacting to other people's negativity or depending on them for validation, for love, for security, you become the master of your own reality. If you enjoyed this episode, let me know how you feel about it down in the comments. Let me know what you're going to detach from in 2025. And while you're down there, join our private community as well, where you'll gain access to exclusive weekly Q&A sessions with me and my team and a thriving, positive, might I add, cool community of like-minded creators ready to support you no matter where you're at in your journey. Check out the links down below in the description for all of my offerings. I am Sean, and you are neither here nor there. Thank you for your time.